Not charged yet. Yeah.
Controls.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I
ladies
know.
and gentlemen,
That's
we're
fine.
on the record. We're about to start. And if all council could be seated, please.
Oh, sorry.
And we're calling Tara Bryant. Tara Bryant.
Ms. Bryan's here present, Judge at Maine.
Ms. Bryant, you are here pursuant to a capias. The court has set a bond at $2,000. You're scheduled to be, it looks like that it hasn't been set yet, but you're scheduled to be set in the division. Do you have any questions, ma'am? Thank you. Tanya Logan?
She's in Paul Ryan, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Ryan. You are charged with domestic battery, and I have read the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. We're here to set bond. Has anybody talked with Ms. Logan?
I have, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr.
She's been
Reed.
living here in Florida for over 10 years. She has an associate's degree. She's currently also a student at FAU. She is a manager of a store. She has had that position for the last 3 years. She has indicated to me that her mother would post her bond. The alleged victim in the case will be moving out of that residence, and she understands that she's not to be within 500 feet of him or have any contact with him in any way. I would ask the court, unless she has a substantial criminal history, which I don't believe she does, I'd ask the court to consider releasing her on her own recognizance.
Your Honor, she has no criminal history. The state would be requesting a $1,000 bond, no victim contact.
Ms. Logan, can your grandmother make a $1,000 bond?
Yeah, my mom, yes.
Okay, so I am going to set a $1,000 bond. As a condition of your bond, Ms. Logan, you are not to have any contact in any form or manner with Arles Anderson until further order of the court. Is that a problem for you?
No.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So is this a false?
Carolina Valderrama.
Judge, she's here present. She's going to require a Spanish interpreter.
Okay, I'll put that to the
I've already called.
Mr. Reedy, as always, has already called.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Rafael Torres.
Mr. Torres is here present, Judge. He declined to serve as public defender.
Okay, Mr. Torres, good morning. You are here charged with domestic battery. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. And we're here to set bond. I'm going to hear from the state first. State, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, the state is going to be requesting a based on the allegations, a $2,500 bond. Mr. Torres' priors include 2013, possession of a felony-controlled substance, 120 days county jail, possession of marijuana, 2012, loitering and prowling, 2011, burglary of a structure, 2011. He violated probation, was sentenced to 330 days county jail.
Okay, Mr. Torres, initially, what kind of bond could you make?
$200 bond. I don't know. I've been staying out of trouble for a long time. I'm just trying to get my life together.
Is there anybody that can post a bond for you, such as family or
Yes.
friends?
Actually, the same girl that discharged, she was going to buy me out. My girlfriend.
Well, and I see that you live together, is that correct?
Yes, because it was just a misunderstanding, all of this.
Okay, well, if you are released, you cannot have any contact with her until further order of the court. Where would you live?
Correct. Well, I have my sister's house and my mom and my brothers. I have a lot of places I can go.
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Are you on probation for anything? Yes, they gave you all of them.
When you got arrested, did you have any cash on you?
Are you out on bond or pre-trial?
Well, if you say that you're going to live with your sister, what is your sister's name?
Grace Bonelli. She just got married. Grace Bonelli. She lives in Miramar.
Oh, no. Married, single, widowed,
How long you been for?
You can belong to your friends.
All right, what I'm going to do is set a $1,000 bond, but also if he was to be released, I'm going to place him on standard pretrial release. He is to report by phone once a week and by in person once a month. He is not to have any contact in any form or manner with Talina Castile, and he's not to go within 500 yards, 500 feet of her residence. So you're not going to be able to go back to that residence until you get further order of the court. Do you understand?
Yeah, so I have to get help to have all my clothes and stuff at the house.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And Your Honor, just so he's aware, it's part of sir.
$100 bond. All right.
I was going to advise him, it's part of the no contact order. He can contact law enforcement and go with law enforcement one time to the residence to get his stuff.
Kevin Lee?
Mr. Lee's here present, Judge at Maine.
Mr. Lee, I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. Find probable cause to believe that you have violated an injunction for domestic violence. So we're here to set bond. Mr. Romero?
Judge, in speaking Mr. Lee, he's been residing in South Florida now for about 9 years. He's not employed with a company. He's self-employed. He picks up scrap metal, so his income varies. Last week he made, for example, $150. Financially, has no money in the bank, no property. The alleged victim is his wife. He understands to have no contact. He's residing now in Lauderdale in an apartment with a friend. He's been residing there now for about 2 months. The monthly rent there is about $1,200, so they go ahead and split the expenses. Obviously, right now his roommate is picking up more of the financial burden because of Mr. Lee's financial situation. He's hoping to contact his friend to help post his bond. What we'd be asking you for, Judge, is to impose a $1,000 bond because he thinks his friend will be able to go to a bondsman and pay the 10%. So we'd be asking you to impose a $1,000 bond on Mr. Lee's behalf.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I don't know if the court can inquire of Mr. Romero. I'm showing that Mr. Lee was scheduled for trial before Judge McHugh on Tuesday for a violation of a domestic violence injunction. There is no update in Odyssey as to what happened, if the case was heard, or...
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to set a $1,000 bond, but I'm also going to place him on level 2 pretrial release with a GPS monitor. I am concerned, Mr. Lee, that there's allegations that you violated this judge's order with the injunction. And I am ordering that you do not go back to the residence as listed in the probable cause affidavit, and you are not to have any contact in any form or manner with, I guess it's Venus Lee, your wife, until further order of the court. You cannot contact her in any form. You can't text her, write her, tweet her, call her. You can't go near her home. You can't go near her.
I'm showing he was on pretrial.
Do you have any questions, sir?
No, Judge.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask for reconsideration because the reason I was asking that is if the case is still open, then that would be a violation of release conditions. If not, there were priors I wanted to bring to the court's attention that I think I was going to be requesting higher than a $1,000 bond, frankly, because he has a history of violating courts. 2016, he was convicted of violating a domestic violence injunction. 2015, he was convicted of violating a domestic violence injunction. 2010, he received a withhold for violating a no contact order, and that was as a result of 2 separate batteries, but those were both dropped. Your Honor, I understand the court set a bond, but it's not just that it's alleged to have violated a judge's orders in this case. He has a history.
Mr. Lee, are you working?
Yes, Judge.
What do you do?
Do scrap metal.
You do what?
Scrap metal and carpet cleaning.
Do you work for yourself or do you work for a company?
Work for myself.
That was what I was telling you earlier, Judge. He works for himself doing scrap moto. His income varies, but last week he made $150. So at this time he doesn't have much financial resources.
Oh,
All right, I'm going to leave the bond as is. Mr. Lee, if you are released, if you post the bond, you're going to be on pretrial release with a GPS monitor. They're going to monitor all your movements. There are only certain reasons that you can leave the confines of your home. Do you understand that? And one of them is to work. But you are not to go within 500 feet of the residence where your wife lives, or your wife, and if she works, you can't go within 500 feet of that employment. Do you understand? Where she?
Yes, I understand, Judge.
And Judge, and just for the record,
Thank you,
the
Judge.
state would be objecting to a $1,000 bond. Also, in that case, he was placed on pretrial with a GPS, and he had to have his pretrial revoked because he violated the conditions.
Okay, thank you. Yes, level 2. 1,000. Yes. Hi, how are you? Okay. If you have any questions. Nicholas Baird?
Mr. Baird is approaching.
Mr. Baird, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Baird, you are here for domestic battery and also charged with criminal mischief, a first-degree misdemeanor. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit, find probable cause. We're here regarding the bond on the domestic battery. So I'll hear from Mr. Romero.
Yes, Judge, thank you. And speaking Mr. Baird, he's been residing in South Florida now for 6 years. He's 25 years old. He's self-employed. He specializes in plumbing. He gets business and customers through word of mouth. So far for the month, though, he's only made about $100. Business is really slow at this time. He has no money in the bank, no property. The alleged victim is his girlfriend. He understands as far as the no contact order. He'll be living with his mother, who resides in Cooper City. He's hoping his mother, who's also on a fixed income, will be able to post his bond. He's thinking that his mother can come up with about $1,000 through a bondsman. So that's what we'd be asking for, Judge. We'd be asking you to consider a $1,000 bond on count 1 and keep count 2 the same, where no bond is necessary.
I would just add, Judge, that the probable cause affidavit does indicate he sent a message to the victim apologizing for his actions, and when the police showed up to arrest him, he turned around, put his hands behind his back.
Okay, state.
Well, Your Honor, as far as the bond, the state is going to be requesting a $15,000 bond and no victim contact. Your Honor, Mr. Baird is out on ROR for first he's out on an ROR for battery, violation of an injunction, domestic violence battery, and battery on a person over the age of 65. He was just released April 14th. He also was placed on probation on March 22nd of this year by Judge McHugh for 12 months for domestic violence, actually 2 counts of domestic violence battery.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I have found probable cause that while out on pretrial release on a criminal charge, there's probable cause to believe that he's committed another criminal offense. I'm going to enter an order revoking his bond pursuant to the statute and to the rule. On the prior case, do you have the case number?
Yes, the open case is 17-2297 MM10A. And just Your Honor, if I can inquire, just on the case he's on probation, does the court wish to take any action under Florida Statute 94806?
Well, I would assume that there will be a probation warrant issued.
Well, that's why I was inquiring. If not, then I'll get in touch with the ASA that can notify his probation officer.
Right, I'm just going to, at this point, that should go before the judge that is assigned.
I understand.
Right now, I'm just going to revoke his pretrial release on the other case.
Yes, Judge.
I will set a $5,000 bond on count 1 in this case, and a $2,500 bond on count 2 in this case, and revoke his pretrial release on other. Thank you, sir. Michael Hill?
That'll be a medical reset, Judge.
It was, Your Honor, and I'm sorry, before, if we could bring, was no contact ordered on Mr. Baird's case?
No, it was not. I am going to order no contact.
And I would just ask if Mr. Romero could advise him if he's, I think he's still there.
Mr. Baird, come on in. The judge needs to inform you of something. They're going to get him. He was out.
Okay. Anthony
He's coming.
He's coming.
He's coming up right now. Nicholas Baird.
Mr. Baird, on the case that is present before me today, if you are released on bond, you are not to have any contact in any form or manner with the alleged victim. Do you understand that? Okay, thank you, sir. Anthony Martinez?
He's still a medical loan, Judge.
Gianfranco Nasarina?
Mr. Nasarine is approaching. He's applying to serve as the public defender. He has private counsel.
And, good morning, sir. How are you? If you'll announce your appearance?
Yes, Your Honor. Ray Sarmiento on behalf of Mr. Sereno.
Okay, Mr. Nasarino, you are here charged with domestic battery, child abuse without great bodily harm, and false imprisonment. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause in each of the counts. So I'll hear argument on the setting of bond, sir.
Good morning, Judge. Yes, Mr. Sereno has lived in South Florida for over 20 years. He has no convictions on his record. He is a partner in he's a general contractor and a managing partner in a construction company, family business called Fincasa. I've read the arrest affidavit. I believe within the four corners of the affidavit there's enough for the charges. However, the allegations are not quite egregious, Judge. The facts are a stretch for each count, I believe, Judge. And what I'd ask is the alleged victim is present, Mr. Nocerino's wife, who's been with Mr. Nocerino for approximately 17 years. She'd like to address the court regarding the no contact order that the court will probably impose because this is a domestic violence case.
Well,
She will be asking to see if we get that modified as well.
Let me ask you, what kind of bond can Mr. Nasarino make?
I have spoken with his wife, and we were going to seek the court to reduce the bonds to $2,500 for each count.
Okay, let me hear from the state for a moment, and then I'm going to hear from Ms. Nasarino.
Your Honor, I'm showing Mr. Nocerino in 2003 in the state of Indiana was arrested for domestic violence battery. That was dropped based on the allegations in the case. Your Honor, on count one, I'd be requesting a $2,500 bond. On counts 2 and 3, the felony offenses, I'd be requesting $4,000 bonds each. And no victim contact with any of the listed witnesses, Your Honor. I mean victims.
Okay, and Ms. Nasarino, can you come forward, please? If you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to tell the truth? Please state your full name.
Dr. Amanda Nasarino.
And how are you related to Gianfranco Nasarino?
We've been married about 13 years.
Do you have any children?
We have 2 children.
Okay, I know that one is, what, about 8 or 9?
The oldest one, he will turn 8 on June 30th, and the younger one will turn 2 on May 30th.
Okay, and what did you want to tell the court?
The brother, he does have some anger issues, but he's a really good dad.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. He's a really good dad. While I was writing my dissertation for my doctorate degree, he was the primary caregiver to our older son. I was at the library 32 hours on the weekend, between Saturday and Sunday, and he was with Giovanni, the child in this case. He was with him every weekend, doing everything, cooking his meals, giving him a bath, playing with him, teaching him things. So I know how it sounds, but he really is a good dad.
Are there any other proceedings pending? Are there any other proceedings pending?
No, sir.
Now listen to my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Are there any other proceedings pending with your family regarding the care of the children? Are they in your custody right now?
Yes, I have both children in the home. Yes.
Okay, and does Mr.
I'm not in fear for my safety or the safety of my son. I think this was an isolated incident where he's under a lot of stress. And I know that sounds whatever, but he manages this company. It's his family's company, and the amount of things that he does would boggle your mind.
Does he have another place that he could reside pending the resolution of this case? Where would that be?
His friend Carlos Padilla, I don't have the address off the top of my head. It's in Miramar, I believe.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
what I'm going to do is set a bond of $2,500 on each count, but I am going to order during the pendency of this case, or unless it's modified by the division judge, that you have no contact with you or the children in any form or manner. Well, I'm going to modify that. He can contact you by phone, as long as there is no physical contact. He can't come to the home. He can't have contact with the children. He can't have contact with you until further modification by the judge. But you can speak to each other by phone to arrange certain things for the family, that type of thing. If it becomes apparent that he is harassing you by the phone, or stalking you through the phone, if you'll go before the judge, and that will be modified. Anything else by anybody?
No, nothing from the state.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Oh, and Your Honor, on a separate matter, I just wanted to put on the case. I didn't realize Nicholas Baird. He actually the pending case was split into two: a misdemeanor case and a felony case. The felony case number is
Eric. Wait. I can't see.
the Nicholas Baird. The case you revoked. His case was actually split into two different cases. The pending case was into a misdemeanor case and a felony case. So I imagine Your Honor would want me to prepare an order for the felony case number as well. And just for the record, the felony case number is 174256 CF10. Yes, Judge.
Laboria Pearson? Laboria Pearson?
Laboria Pearson, is that it? Hold on.
Laboria Pearson?
Judge, I've been advised she bonded.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Lauren Neva?
North Broward.
Lauren Neva at North Broward?
Give me 1 sec. Come on, you're up. No, she's detoxing, but she made it here. Give me a second.
Thank you. Miss Neva, good morning. How are you?
All right.
Okay. You are here charged with possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, a first-degree misdemeanor, and resisting or obstructing without violence, also a first-degree misdemeanor. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit, find that there is probable cause to believe you committed those offenses. Your bond is presently set at $100 for the possession of cannabis, and you have been ROR'd on the resisting or obstructing without violence. Can you make that bond, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Maria Escavera? Maria Escavera? Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Ma'am, you are here pursuant to a warrant for a violation of probation. You're being held no bond, and you're scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/24/17 at 9 a.m. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Latoya Canty?
Ms. Canty, you are here pursuant to a warrant on a violation of probation. You are being held no bond. You're scheduled to appear before the court on 4/24/17 at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, ma'am. Lashara Makins?
Makins?
Ms. Makins, you are being held no bond pursuant to a capias issued in 16-00260 TC CFA 10A, I'm sorry. You are scheduled to appear before the court on 4/24/17 at 9 a.m. Thank you, ma'am. Nicole Jones?
Ms. Jones, come on up, please.
Ms. Jones, you are being held and charged with aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and also burglary of an unoccupied conveyance. And I have not reviewed this probable cause affidavit. It must have gotten stuck with one of the others this morning. Let me take a moment.
I got a million things going on right now.
Ms. Jones, I find probable cause. I will hear argument regarding bond. Mr. Romero?
Thank you, Judge. And speaking of Ms. Jones, she's been residing in our community her whole entire life. She is 24 years old. She was born and raised here, went to local schools. At this time, she is a stay-at-home mother. She's not working. She actually has 4 children, twins who are 2 years old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old. Basically, her whole family is dependent on her fiance. Her fiance is a self-employed carpenter, so his income varies. He makes approximately $400 a week. He has no money in the bank, no property, so basically there's not much financial resources for this family. If the state can confirm, I believe this is her first exposure to the criminal justice system. She is a registered voter here in Broward County, so she has strong ties to the community. My understanding is that the victim and her have no reason to be in contact with each other. She'll have no problem abiding by your Honor's court order as far as no contact. She'll be living I believe you said you live in Fort Lauderdale?
Yes.
In Fort Lauderdale, so they have no contact whatsoever. She's going to actually contact her uncle because her husband or her fiance is not in a financial position to post bond, so she's hoping her uncle will be able to post her bond. Judge, what we'd be asking for is you to consider a $1,500 bond on count 1 and a $1,000 bond on count 2. That would be $2,500. She's hoping that her uncle come up with $250 with the bondsman to post her bond. So we'd be asking for $2,500.
Okay, her fiance is not the alleged victim, is that correct?
Correct. I believe the fiance's stepbrother is the alleged victim. So there's no need for her to have any contact. So they don't reside together or anything like that.
Your Honor, she has no criminal history. The state would request $2,500 bond each count, no victim contact.
Judge, I would just add, this happened back in February of 2017, so she hasn't been in any trouble or, as far as we know, had any kind of adverse contact with the victim since then. And on the sliding scale of aggravated batteries with a deadly weapon, this is probably at the shallow end of the pool. She rear-ended the victim's car, causing minor damage, and there's no indication that he sustained any injuries. In fact, it says quite frankly, he did not sustain any injuries, so I'd ask the court to keep that in mind as well. I think what Mr. Romero is requesting is appropriate.
Mr. Romero, you said $2,500 bond on count 1 and $1,500 on count 2?
No, I said $1,500 on count 1, $1,000 on 2 for a total of $2,500 because she thinks her uncle can come up with $250.
Okay, well, what I'm going to do is set a bond of $2,000 on count 1, $1,000 on count 2, and thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
The dependency of this case, and that while you're out on bond, you cannot have any contact in any form or manner with Chauncey Brown. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Is there any reason you need to have contact with him?
No.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
Waiting for me? Yes. That was from...
From yesterday. Oh, Mr. Herrera. Where's the guy with his...
Right. Oh,
he's in a different facility, I think.
Okay, is Mr. Perez there in the... Mr. Romero?
I remember Mr. Perez. Mr. Perez. Oh, there he is. Your attorney's here present, Mr. Herrera.
You can sit there wherever you want. If you want to sit there, it's fine.
Very great attorney, Mr. Herrera.
Okay.
Mr. Perez, you are here charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit several times. I don't see sufficient facts for a burglary. I do see sufficient facts for a trespass. State?
One moment, Your Honor. Well, Your Honor,
Did you say Ms. Hill bonded?
it would appear, one, that he's entered the door with two other males there. Apparently, they might appear they could possibly be lookouts. Also, Your Honor, fleeing, and it appears, and if you'd like, I could call the officer to bring in more information, but it appears that upon when the victim came out, that's when he fled the scene, and I would argue that that also shows a consciousness of guilt. That he,
Are you asking for me to reset this for 24 hours, or do
well,
you want me to just make my decision now? It's my understanding he's being held on other cases.
That's fine, Your Honor. When setting the bond, I'd ask you just to advise the court that one of the cases he's on probation for is for burglary of a structure, and two of the cases he's being held on is for burnt dwellings.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is find probable cause for a trespass. I'll set a bond at $2,000. Okay, thank you. And we're back on Tina Kruger, right?
Ms. Kruger is a medical reset.
Medical reset. Yes, sir. Who are you here for?
I'm not quite sure, Your Honor.
Spin.
First appearances we don't.
Oh, that's right. We had. I know who it's for. It's for Carolina Valderrama.
Yes.
Valderrama? Oh, Spanish interpreter.
And sir, if you'll raise your right hand, do you swear to translate from Spanish to English and English to Spanish? And please state your name and who you're with.
Martin Dino, Court Interpreting Services.
Welcome.
Judge, can the interpreter speak more into the microphone so we can hear?
I will also speak into the judge.
He will. I was just swearing him in, Mr. Romero.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Ms. Valderrama.
Señora Valderrama.
Good morning.
Buenos días.
You are charged with domestic battery.
A usted se le acusa de agresión doméstica.
I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit.
He repasado la declaración juramentada del fundamento probable.
I find probable cause.
Fallo de que hay fundamento de hechos.
We're here to set bond.
Estamos aquí para fijar la fianza.
Mr. Romero, have you had a chance to talk with Ms. Valderrama?
Señor Romero, ¿ha tenido la oportunidad de hablar con la señorita Valderrama? Así es.
What kind of bond are you requesting?
¿Qué tipo de fianza está pidiendo?
Judge, this is a kind of difficult situation. Normally I would be asking for, because of the facts of the case, I had an opportunity to review the probable cause, I'd be asking for ROR.
Pues eso es un caso un poco difícil. Dado las circunstancias de la declaración de hechos, estaríamos pidiendo que salga bajo palabra de juramento.
Let me explain to you why. Judge, she's been residing here for 4 years.
Le quiero explicar
She's 23 years old.
Lleva aquí residiendo más de 4 años, tiene 23 años de edad.
The alleged victim, her fiance, is her sole financial provider.
La supuesta víctima, el comprometido, es la única fuente de recursos para ella.
She has no money in the bank. She owns no property.
Ella no tiene ni dinero en el banco, ni es dueña ni propietaria de ninguna propiedad.
This is her first arrest ever in her life.
Es la primera vez que la arrestan en su vida.
At this time, she is going to school. She was attending Atlanta Technical College, learning English.
En este momento ella estaba asistiendo a la escuela Atlanta Technical College, aprendiendo el inglés.
I did explain to her, due to the domestic situation, she'll have no contact. She'll be residing with a friend who lives in Hollywood.
Yo le he explicado a ella que debido a la situación de violencia en el hogar, ella va a estar viviendo con una amiga que vive en Hollywood.
Now,
Mr.
normally
Romero,
her friend could probably
Mr.
afford
Romero,
$1,000 bond.
Mr. Romero, let me just ask you a question. I note that the alleged victim in this case lives in Hollywood. Is that her friend? It's someone else.
No, it's not.
Noto que la supuesta víctima en
And
este caso.
she's not going to be living near the alleged victim, am I correct?
Correct. They're not going to be living together.
Okay, and you were asking for a $1,000 bond?
No, I'm asking for an ROR.
Okay.
And here's why. Her friend could probably afford the $1,000 bond, but when she was arrested, her phone wasn't with her. So therefore, she doesn't have the phone number to contact her friend to post her bond. So she's going to be languishing in jail, not being able to call anyone or communicate with anyone to post her bond. And I just point out in the PT affidavit.
Mr. Romero, you have to wait for the interpreter.
I understand, sorry.
Cuando la arrestaron, parece que no tenía el teléfono. Por lo tanto, no podrá ponerse en contacto. Aunque su amistad puede prestar la fianza de $1,000, no le puede poner en contacto. Entonces tendría que esperar pereciendo dentro de la cárcel. Por lo tanto, está pidiendo que le dejen salir bajo palabra de juramento.
I note out in the probable cause affidavit, Judge, that the victim, I believe, didn't want to pursue charges. The victim was the one that contacted the police officer. It was a minor incident relative to some of the domestic situations that comes before this court. And that's why I'm asking for an ROR, because of her lack of any sort of priors and the victim doesn't seem to prosecute.
Leyendo la declaración juramentada me he dado cuenta que la víctima no está tratando de perseguir los cargos. Esto es un suceso menor comparado con las otras cosas que vemos aquí en el tribunal de primera instancia y por eso estoy pidiendo que le deje salir bajo palabra de juramento.
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, the state is going to be requesting a $1,500 bond and no victim contact.
Su señoría, la fiscalía va a estar pidiendo una fianza de $1,500 y la prohibición en contra de contacto de la víctima.
I don't know that I would call what's described as scratches all over the victim's upper torso and upper back as minor.
No sé si yo describiría los rasguños que sufrió la víctima en la parte superior del torso y la parte superior de la espalda como algo menor.
And, Your Honor, I apologize if the court's already aware of this.
Y su señoría, le pido perdón si el tribunal ya está consciente de esto.
But as far as getting communication with her friend,
pero en cuanto a comunicarse con su amistad,
my understanding is there are numbers for bondsmen in the jail, and that they can easily reach out to friends or family members of the defendant to assist in having bond posted.
Yo entiendo que en la cárcel sí que tienen los números de fiduciarios y personas que pueden prestar la fianza, mediante los cuales la familia y los amigos podrían contactar para prestar una fianza.
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Okay, I'm going to set a $500 bond and place her on standard pretrial release. She is to report by phone once a week and in person once a month, and she is to have no contact. Oh, I'm sorry.
Voy a fijar la fianza a $500 y la voy a poner bajo las condiciones estándar de la libertad ante juicio. Ella no debe tener ningún contacto, debe reportarse una vez por mes en persona y una vez por semana por teléfono.
She's to have no contact with the alleged victim, William Corbett, in any form or manner.
Con William Corbett, la supuesta víctima, no podrá tener ningún contacto de ninguna manera.
Until further order of the court.
Hasta que esa orden cambie por parte del juez.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Mr. Romero, is there anyone else that needs a Spanish interpreter?
Let me inquire, Judge. ¿Alguien necesita intérprete en español? Español. What? Then raise your hand. Yes, we have two gentlemen here at the main. ¿Qué es tu nombre?
José Cornejo.
Jose Cornejo, Judge. Let me. Page what? Page. I've been informed page 11, which is towards the middle, Judge.
How do you spell his last name?
Cornejo
Castillo.
Cornejo Castillo. CORNAJO Castillo. CASTILLO.
North Broward has one as well when you're done.
Okay, thank
North
you.
Broward has one also when you're done with that.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Mr. Castillo, you are charged with operating without a valid driver's license
Señor Castillo, usted se le acusa de haber conducido sin licencia válida de conducir,
and speeding.
de exceso de velocidad.
I find probable cause after reviewing the probable cause affidavit.
Después de repasar la declaración juramentada de hechos,
Your bond is a total of $25.
fallo de que hay fundamento de hechos para el cargo. Su fianza la fijo a $25.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
¿Quién más? ¿Qué es tu nombre?
Mario Antonio Morales Santizo.
Mario Antonio Morales. Mario Antonio Morales.
Mario Antonio Morales Santizo.
Santizo. Oh, and Judge, I've been advised he declined the service of public defender.
Ha rehusado los servicios del abogado de oficio.
It's one of the first felonies, Judge. Well, just
I got it. Okay.
Little bit.
Are you Mario Anton Morales Santizo?
¿Es usted,
Yes, sir.
María Antonio?
You are presently being held pursuant to a capias. Your bond is set at $100.
Actualmente lo tienen arrestado por una orden de arresto y su fianza está fija a $100.
And you're scheduled to appear before the judge
Está fijado para comparecer frente al juez
on 4/25/2017 at 8:30.
el 25 de abril del 2017 a las 8:30 de la mañana.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias, señor.
Thank you so much.
North Broward, you have somebody? Is that you? Sir, you have somebody for Spanish interpreter?
But come on in. Valencia, page 17, Stephen Valencia.
This is the hard part, having to go through these. And counsel, are you on Mr. Valencia? Oh. Here it is, Stephen Valencia. Mr. Valencia, good morning.
Buenos días, señor
Buenos
Valencia.
días. Buenos días, señor juez.
Mr. Valencia, you're being held on 2 violations of probation.
Señor Valencia, usted lo tienen en cárcel por haber quebrantado 2 cargos de haber quebrantado su libertad probatoria.
The judge assigned to those cases
El juez que se ha asignado a los cargos, a sus
has
casos,
ordered that you be held no bond.
ha ordenado de que usted lo mantengan adentro sin fianza,
You are scheduled to appear before the judge
pero está fijo usted para comparecer frente a ese juez
on 4/24/2017
el 24 de abril del 2017
at 8:30 a.m.
a las 8:30 de la mañana.
Do you have any questions, sir?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta, señor?
No, señor. No,
No,
señor,
sir.
gracias.
Thank
very
you.
much. Gracias a usted.
Anybody else that needs a Spanish interpreter? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming down.
Thank you. Have a good
Okay,
day.
counsel, do you need some help here, or?
Yes, Your Honor. I represent Kristen Carvajal.
Carvajal.
What page?
16.
Mr. Carvajal?
What page is it? You don't have no idea.
No one's answering on Main. I don't know if he's in a different
Page,
facility.
page 16, North Broward.
Okay.
Did you call Carvajal?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's you.
Counsel, if you could place your name on the record.
My name is Rick Meyerson.
Good morning, Mr. Meyerson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Carvajal, you're here charged with burglary of an unoccupied conveyance and 2 counts of grand theft. Your bonds are presently set at a total of $2,000. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. And also, the Judge Rock Singal has reviewed the probable cause affidavit, finds probable cause. Counsel, can he make the $2,000 bond?
Your Honor, his family is indigent. His mother works at Macy's. She's indicated she would have to sell her car in order to post bail. Right now, there is one outstanding charge that hasn't been issued a bond, Your Honor. It's burglary of an unoccupied conveyance.
That is correct. I'm sorry, you're correct, and I apologize. We need the set bond on that case.
The issue, I feel very strongly, Your Honor, and I've never said this, I don't think, in my career, that they're overcharging him. The facts remain, they're indisputable, that the home that they allege was burglarized, the young man and my client are best friends for over a decade. It's indisputable that my client is an invitee and sleeps over there regularly. So unless they can pinpoint the exact day when they allege that this burglary occurred, considering he's been an invited, guest for years, spending nights there, I don't really see how they could warrant a burglary charge, Your Honor.
Because I think that according to the statute and the case law that I'm aware of, is even if you are invited into a residence or a business and then you subsequently form the intent to commit an offense, that constitutes a burglary. State, I'll hear from you.
And I would also note, Your Honor, it's not for a burglary of the home. He was charged with burglary of a vehicle.
Okay, it was an unoccupied conveyance, so I didn't get any information except the A form this morning, Your Honor, so I was assuming
Okay.
it was a home.
State, what are you asking for here?
Your Honor, I'm going to be asking for a $10,000 bond on count one. I've got a great concern for the community. Mr. Carvajal was out on, if I could check, I want to see if it's both cases or one. When this occurred, okay, allegedly on February 19th, he was out on bond on at least one case at a date for attempted, and that is still pending right now, for attempted burglary of a, charges are attempted burglary of a dwelling and criminal mischief. He also has another pending case out of Dade County right now, Your Honor, for grand theft. Your Honor, I can tell you without going into too much detail, he's had similar priors as a juvenile. He's only 19. My concern is that I have a concern that Mr. Carvajal will continue to commit burglaries while out of custody.
Your Honor, he was not out on bond. He was picked up in Dade County on a warrant, and it simultaneously triggered this Broward hold. So it wasn't like he was out on bond and reoffended.
Tell me about him. Who does he live with?
Okay, I went to the jail, I met him. He's a very nice young man. I know it sounds self-serving. He's a very humble gentleman. He's 19. He's been in jail now for over 2 months. His father did abandon him when he was a very young child. He's raised by his mother, Fatima, and his 2 aunts. They all coincide together. We have 4 adults living in one residence, basically to economize in order to survive. He's dating the same young lady, Daniela, for 5 years. They're planning to be married. There's never been an allegation that Mr. Carvajal has ever committed violence. You know, he's 120 pounds wet. I don't think he could commit violence if he tried.
Is he working?
He was working at VIP Valet, and they have a job waiting for him at Macy's, where his girlfriend and his mother both work.
And he's not married, no children?
Not married, no children.
Is he a U.S. citizen?
He is. I apologize. He's a resident. He's a licensed legal permanent resident, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, when the court's ready.
And you're asking for $10,000?
I'm asking for 10, and Your Honor, I want to put this on the record because, this is coming straight from the clerk system out of Dade County. On the attempted burglary, dwelling, criminal mischief, Mr. Carvajal was booked into jail January 10th. His bond was received January 12th. His arraignment hearing was scheduled for February 9th, so he was out on release, or he was arrested for that case prior to this allegedly occurring.
What I'm going to do is set a bond of $10,000 on count one. I'm going to leave the bonds of $1,000 on each count. If he is to be released, if he can post the bond, I'm going to place him on level 1 pretrial release with a monitor. That's house arrest. He cannot leave his residence without permission of the court or with permission of pretrial release until he can go before the judge.
He is able to work, Your Honor, with the ankle?
Not on level 1 pretrial release.
Can I ask that we waive the cost because they are an indigent family?
Of the monitor, yes, and I will grant that.
Thank you.
10,000 count 1, 1,000 on count 2, and 1,000 on count 3.
And I apologize, I should have asked before, Your Honor, I asked for no victim contact.
Could I see that for a moment?
It appears they do know each
There's
other.
no allegation of violence, right? It's just allegation
It is true, Your Honor, but I just want to make sure that it appears...
Mr. Carvajal, is there any reason that you need to contact the alleged victim in this case? To have contact?
No, sir.
Okay, so I will grant that.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Have a nice morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Regina McGeady?
Thank you, Your Honor.
She's in Paul Ryan, Judge.
Paul Ryan, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Are you
I'm
Regina
fine.
McGeady?
Yes, sir.
And you are here charged with grand theft. Your bond is presently $1,000. It's grand theft auto. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. And has anybody spoken with her?
Your Honor, bonded Manhurst bail bond in Dade County.
Okay, Ms. McEady, your family is posting your bond. You should be out fairly soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Antoinette Robinson? Antoinette Robinson? Anybody have any information?
She's in the main jail, Judge.
In the
She's
main-
here in Maine,
Mr.
Judge?
Reedy might have a copy.
Okay. Ms. Robinson, you are being charged with possession of cocaine, 2 counts of resisting without violence, trespass of an unoccupied structure, and you're being held no bond for violation of probation. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. Your bond in the possession of cocaine is $1,000. You are being ROR'd on the 2 resisting and the trespass, and you're being held no bond on the violation of probation. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Harris Gilbert?
Ms. Gilbert?
Ms. Gilbert, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
You are being held no bond on a violation of probation on case number 11-012181 CF10A. And you are scheduled to appear before the judge on April 25th at 8:30. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
ma'am. All right.
Do you have any children? Live with you?
This is,
Your present card? You work?
Mayesha Hill?
Judge, I've been advised she bonded.
Okay, thank you. Shanika Lampkin?
Ms. Lampkin, come on up, please.
Any property bank accounts over to you?
Ms. Lampkin, good morning. You're being held charged with giving false identification to a law enforcement officer and also burglary with a battery. And you're also being charged with a violation of probation in 14007 406 MM10A. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on the violation of probation on 4/26/2017. Your bond with false information is $100. I find probable cause of the burglary with the assault or battery. You're being held no bond on that count. That is a first-degree punishable by life. And you're being held no bond on the violation of probation. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/26/2017 at 1:30 p.m. Thank you.
Judge, I believe on the violation of probation, it's an ROR.
It is?
Yes.
I'm looking at, oh, I was looking at the wrong thing, and you are correct. Ma'am, you're being held, you were arrested on a warrant signed by Judge Marty Levy-Cohen, and she has released you on your own recognizance on that case, okay? You're being, yes?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I just, I'll wait, I'll let the court finish. I apologize.
Oh, that's okay.
Your Honor, I just wanted to put on the record that the state also provided the court, for the court's review, a copy of the signed information, supplemental reports, and the sworn victim statement and sworn witness statement.
Okay, Ms. Lampkin, your case has been filed. Apparently, there's a co-defendant, Keisha Frederick. It is filed as a burglary with a battery. Am I correct on that? It's a first-degree punishable by life?
Yes, you are, Judge.
Okay.
And,
all right, thank you, everybody.
And we just asked for no victim contact, Your Honor, in an abundance of caution. Your Honor, we've had occasions in the past, I'm not saying she will, but we've had occasions in the past where people have sent mail, made phone calls to victims from the jail. I just want to make sure that...
I see. Okay.
Judge, if I could just inquire if Mr. Reedy had an opportunity to review the documents that were provided by Mr. Lender to Your Honor in reference to count 2.
Yeah, please.
Mr. Reedy's on the phone.
That means
can we hold up for a second until we inquire? I just want to make sure he had an opportunity to review it.
Ms. Lampkin, pending a final disposition in this case or a modification by the assigned judge, you are to have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, okay? So you can't call him or her from the jail or have anyone call them, okay?
I'm sorry, Judge, I was on the phone. What did you need?
On count 2, it's a PBL offense. I know Mr. Lender provided the judge with documents. I don't know if you had sufficient time to review everything on the PBL offense on count 2.
No, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of written statements and sworn statements by witnesses. I haven't had a chance to review it.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Matthew Post.
Judge,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about this, but I know Ms. Lampkins advised me, and as Mr. Lender, I believe, said, there are co-defendants, and I believe the co-defendants were actually charged with the same offense, and I believe the co-defendants were given bonds at magistrate. I don't know if there's a way to go ahead and Mr. Lender can confirm that, and if that's the case, obviously the defense's position is that we'd be asking you to actually afford Ms. Lampkin a bond at this time. Judge, as you know, this is a not-in-custody capias. Therefore, probable cause was already determined. However, for purposes of bond, that still comes before you at first appearance, and it's within your authority to go ahead and post a bond, give this Ms. Lampkin a bond at this time. Everyone is entitled to a bond. Judge, I don't believe the state is moving for any sort of pretrial detention. I know this is a PBL offense. However, a person cannot be held no bond simply because they were arrested on a PBL offense. There has to be a subsequent finding made, a hearing in order to determine if there's proof, evidence, presumption of guilt. I don't think we've been afforded, or the state is asking for that hearing or anything like that. So, Judge, at this time, we'd be asking for a bond regarding Ms. Lampkin on count number 2.
Okay, motion is denied, and I note it's over your objection.
And
okay, Matthew Post.
And the state was going to be seeking no bond. You just ordered it before an opportunity, Your Honor.
Matthew Post.
North Broward, Your Honor. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Post. You are here pursuant to a capias issued by the court. The court sets your bond at $500, and it's in case number 17004568TC28.
Judge, Mr. Post was here, I believe, yesterday or the day before. He's resolved all of his matters. The only things holding him in jail right now is this charge and the leaving the scene of an accident in case number 17004968TC10A. The bond on that is $1,000. Mr. Post has indicated to me he'd like to resolve both those matters if possible. One of them is not on the docket. We only have count 5. We don't have count 4. Would it be possible to reset Mr. Post for this afternoon and have both counts before the court?
Well, I'm looking at the capias. There are 2 counts in that capias in the same case. One's leaving the scene and one is failure to obey driver restrictions. So I think that's the capias that is in this case. Those are the 2 counts.
Oh, okay. All right. It just doesn't show up that way on the docket.
My concern is in resolving it at this time is the alleged victim of leaving the scene of an accident. I have no information. I have no contact with them, and I'm reluctant to do that under those circumstances. So, Mr. Post, I can't resolve your case this morning. I would need some input from the alleged victim in your case, okay? Thank you, sir.
How long is that going to take?
And Alexander Hooter?
Conti, Your Honor.
Mr. Hooter, good morning, sir. You are here being held no bond on a violation of probation, and you are scheduled to appear before the judge on that violation of probation on 4/29 at 10 a.m. Okay, sir? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Can I call up a case?
Oh, absolutely.
Appreciate it, and I apologize in my haste to get here. I left my jacket in the car. I do apologize, at home, actually.
Well,
So
actually, if you would like, you could probably borrow Mr. Romero's.
Okay, he's a sharp dresser. I'm a size 42 regular.
And what is the name of your client?
Kenneth LaFlamme, you had reset him from yesterday, page 27, Your Honor.
Okay, so that would be towards the end, would it not?
Yes.
I believe so.
And his name is LaFlamme?
LaFlamme, Kenneth LaFlamme.
I found it.
I got a call from Mr. Linder. You were kind enough to reset it yesterday. I couldn't be here. I represent him on another pending felony.
Okay, is Mr. LaFlamme here?
We're looking for him right now, Judge. Mr. LaFlamme. What page?
He's in regular court.
Judge, we've been advised right now he's in regular court.
He's up in regular court
room
assigned
500.
to that judge.
Okay.
I'm not sure who that is. Does anybody know?
He had a
Room
matter
500.
before Judge Hurley, and I contacted his judicial assistant prior to being informed to be here to bring him there, because he was out on that case.
Yeah, no, this is a burglary, so it wouldn't be before Judge Hurley.
No, he has another matter, stalking, where he worked at a car dealership.
Oh,
He
no,
got-
no, no, what I'm saying is, right now, he is in front of the judge assigned to this case, so I think maybe you should...
No, he's not, Your Honor. He has, Mr. LaFlamme he has another open case.
A misdemeanor
he has-
before Judge Hurley.
He has a couple open cases. He was scheduled on that case for a calendar call this morning, so they just brought him there
To Judge Hurley.
for that open case, not this.
Okay.
I just informed the court, he's on pretrial in case 166761, and I understand that the pretrial officer took a warrant to that judge also.
To Judge Hurley.
No, this is a different case.
He's out on another felony also.
Okay, I'm totally confused now. at
Because
this
he was
point.
out- he was out
So,
on a felony
what do you want
case?
me to do with Mr. Laflamme this morning?
I wanted you to set a bond and not revoke his bond, but I'm prepared to proceed anyway.
Well, I can't proceed without him. I'll need
Okay.
him here. So, do we want to reset him this afternoon?
We can. I mean, I can tell you from experience that they don't always, even though they're just in this building in the morning, they don't always make it to the jail for the afternoon. We can, in worst case scenario, and
Judge, I'd ask if you could reset him till Monday. He's not going to be able to
Okay.
bond.
Not a problem.
Okay, I appreciate it.
We'll reset him till Monday morning.
All right,
Judge Cal Evans will be here.
understood.
Okay.
Okay, appreciate it, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I'm sorry I didn't notice you sitting there. I would have taken you right away.
No worries. Have a good day.
You too. Jose Cesares? Mr. Cesares, good morning, sir. You're here pursuant to a capias issued by the court. The judge in that capias has set a $500 bond. You are scheduled to go before that judge on 4/26/17 at 9 a.m. Okay? Thank you, sir. Ethan Jones?
Mr. Jones is approaching, Judge.
Mr. Jones, you are here charged with trespass of an occupied structure. I've read the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. Your bond is presently set at $100. Okay, sir?
Judge.
Yes.
Respectfully, I would be asking you to consider an ROR. If the state can verify that this is his first exposure to the criminal justice system, considering this is a trespass, I know he could potentially ask Your Honor to resolve this case, but if he has a clean record, I don't want to blemish it. Financially, at this point, he could contact his mother, who lives in Deerfield. However, when he was arrested, his phone was with him, and his phone is dead, so he doesn't have access to contact his mother. Judge, considering this is a nonviolent offense, it's a misdemeanor, there is a presumption to be released on non-monetary conditions.
Mr.
I'd be
Romero,
asking you to...
can I ask
Yes.
you something? In the probable cause affidavit on the second page, when he's at the hospital at Imperial Point, he leaves the emergency room after being asked to leave, and it says he comes back and states, he places his hand behind his back and states, "I have no place to go, just arrest me." That concerns me because it sounds to me like he's homeless. Is that accurate?
Let me inquire, Judge. Judge, he may be, you're correct in reading the PC affidavit, he may be homeless at this time. He's going to inquire if he could go back to his mother's residence. He's 19 years old. He's a graduate of a local Palm Beach high school. He's planning on going to college, Judge, considering, like I said, his first arrest ever, trespass, minor offense, no violent. I'd be asking you to consider an ROR. Even though he's homeless, if he is homeless, he could still inquire if he has any future court date by basically, he's going to apply for a public defender by contacting his attorney. He could go to any Broward County library, go online, look up any future court dates, or physically come to the courthouse and see if he has any future court dates.
Okay.
So therefore, respectfully, I'd ask you not to disregard ROR simply because he's homeless.
My mom might be
I
able to take me
was
back.
just going to say, Your Honor, if the court's concern is that he has a place to stay, if you keep the bond 25 and he doesn't bond, he'll come back in a second look. If pretrial can verify an address, he can either be ROR or put on pretrial at that time.
We don't verify $75 when they come back the first time.
You could,
Unless the court orders it.
and I was just going to say the court could request that pretrial.
Well, let me ask you this. Mr. Jones, is it your intent or plan to go back and live with your parents?
Yes.
And they live in Deerfield?
Yes.
Have you contacted them? Will they agree to take you back?
They'll agree to take me back. I haven't been able to contact them because my phone's currently dead.
Would you be able to give us a phone number?
I don't have a phone number by heart.
It's in his phone contacts.
It's in my phone contacts.
Then, is there any way that we can find out how to contact them?
Probably not. I mean, at this point, Your Honor, and I was going to say originally, I didn't have an objection to ROR. He just has to understand it's going to be his responsibility to get back to court, and if he doesn't, it's,
exactly.
It's Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Jones,
agreeing with you.
I am going to release you ROR, release you on your own recognizance.
Thank you, sir.
But we are going to be, not we, the clerk's office is going to be sending documents to your mother's address in Deerfield and notifying you of court dates. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure that you get those notices and appear when you're ordered to. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Only concern, we have two different addresses. I see one on the booking and then one on the arrest. So
what is the address where your parents live?
757 Siesta Key Trail.
What is it? Say it again.
757 Siesta Key Trail.
It's the one on the arrest.
Okay, let me ask you this. What address is 5504 Northwest 37th Avenue? What is that?
I don't know how that got on there. I don't know where that's at. It's probably my grandmother's place or something.
Okay. So anyways, we'll use the Siesta Key address. We'll release you on your own recognizance, but you're going to have to appear in court, okay?
Understood.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Judge.
Thank you, sir.
Eddie Washington?
Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington, you're being held no bond on two separate cases for a violation of probation. You're scheduled, you are not scheduled at this time, but it will be set for time scheduled to appear before the judge, okay? Thank you.
You're going to be appearing before the judge shortly. The clerk has to go ahead and set the court.
Daniel Tona?
Mr. Tona, come out. Is it Tona?
That's the last thing.
Mr. Tona, you're being held pursuant to a capias issued by the court. The court set a bond of $500. Thank you.
Judge, Mr. Tona is inquiring if Your Honor would consider resolving his case today for time served.
Jordan Clark.
State, do you have any objection to that?
If I could just have one moment, I just want to see, just make sure this wasn't someone's private property or anything like that.
I don't have any facts of the original case.
Yeah, I can pull it out. That's
Junior
not
Novel. Last name Junior? Naval?
Yes, Your Honor, it appears, I have no objection. It appears this was at a 7-Eleven. Your Honor, I have no objection. It appears this was at a 7-Eleven in Deerfield.
Mr. Tona, you raise your right hand.
Sir.
You swear to tell the truth?
Sir.
Please put your arm down and please state your full name.
Daniel Lawrence Tona.
Mr. Tona, it's my understanding you wish to resolve your case today, waive your right to an attorney in the trial. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions regarding any rights you're giving up today?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any kind of drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No, sir.
And are you pleading no contest to one count of trespass in case number 17-000-550-MM20A?
Yes, I do.
The court's going to accept your plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily given. The court is going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served, order court costs of $293, and I'm going to give you a year to pay those court costs, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Remember I said common sense? Remember?
William Ard?
Mr. R is approaching, Judge. He's requesting an ROR.
Mr. Ard, you are presently charged with reckless driving. Your bond is presently set at $100. You're also charged with 2 infractions that do not require a bond. I have read the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. And I'll hear argument regarding bond. Your bond is presently set at $100. Mr. Ard is asking to be ROR'd. Mr. Ard, where do you live?
I was living in a motel.
You're from another state, right?
No, I'm from Pensacola, Florida. My driver's license is at Jackson, Mississippi, though. My family lives in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, that's what I see. State?
Well, Your Honor, reviewing his driving record, I see 2 previous DUIs.
15 years ago.
I see 2 previous DWLSs. He's been to prison for child abuse. I'm showing...
Mr. Ard, based on your ties to the community or lack of ties to the community and your driving record, I'm increasing your bond to $500. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Richard Wallace? Mr. Wallace, good morning, sir. You are being charged with 3 counts of petty theft and 1 count of resisting or obstructing without violence. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. Your bond is presently set at $100 on the resisting. State, I'll hear from you regarding bond on this case.
Your Honor, I'm showing, as far as the criminal history, Your Honor, I'm only showing a prior, I'm not showing anything, Your Honor. I was just going to be recommending the convenience bond on count 4, Your Honor, based on his lack of history, but since there are 3 thefts.
All right, Mr. Wallace, where do you live?
I live in Deerfield, Your Honor.
With whom?
A friend of mine.
With a roommate.
How long have you lived there?
I've only lived there for maybe 2 weeks now.
Where's your family?
Up in Pennsylvania.
How long have you been in South Florida?
2.5 years.
Your Honor, one thing I could advise you, he has no type of Florida ID or driver's license.
Do you have any more?
Mr. Wallace, do you have family or friends that can post a bond for you?
No, not right now. No, I do not.
If you were to be released, where would you live?
I live with my friend up in Deerfield Beach. I have an address.
Is that the address that you gave on the booking?
Yes.
The 541 address?
Yes.
And you've lived there 2 weeks?
Yes.
What I'm concerned about is lack of ties to the community and these thefts, though they're not, it looks like they're all second-degree misdemeanors.
And they all seem to have occurred within a very short period of time. Maybe Mr. Wallace just went through a real bad turn. You know, he doesn't have anything in his past that we're aware
Here's
of.
what I'm going to do. Mr. Wallace, I'm going to leave the bond at the resisting or obstructing at $100. If you were to be, I'm going to ROR you on the other counts, but if you are released, I'm going to place you on pretrial release, standard pretrial release, and you are to report by phone twice a week and in person twice a month, because I'm concerned about your ties to the community and your residency is not real stable. Okay?
The Judge, respectfully, he does have some ties to the community. He's been residing in our community for 2.5 years. He is 30 years old. As evidenced by his criminal record, he has none. He has nothing in South Florida. And
So what do
prior
you
to
want me to
that,
do?
and the other
What do you want me to do?
standard pretrial. Therefore, he'll be in a
put him on
position.
standard pretrial.
But he doesn't have the financial capability to post a $100 bond.
Oh, I'm going to leave the bond at 100. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheldon Pompey?
Judge, I'm sorry. We're going to need a photo order regarding Mr. Wallace.
Okay, granted.
Thank you.
Do you know what those are? Sheldon Pompey? Mr. Pompey, good morning, sir. You are charged with trespass of an occupied structure. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit, and I have a question as to whether or not there's probable cause. Let me read it again. He was the passenger in the vehicle.
In the stolen vehicle.
Right. Mr. Reedy, have you read this? What is your feeling about this? I mean, all it says is that there was a driver, he was a passenger, and that he was sitting in the front passenger seat.
I don't know how he could have avoided being where he was at the time. And there's no indication of any knowledge of having awareness of the car being stolen. He's just there.
Yeah, my understanding.
There's no intent at all.
Is that there's got to be some kind of warning or indication that you can't be in that vehicle.
Right.
There's nothing here. So I'm going to find no probable cause. State, do you want 24 hours?
No, Your Honor, that's fine.
Okay, I'm going to release him ROR.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. And Sergo Simeon? Mr. Simeon, good morning, sir. You are presently charged with possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, a first-degree misdemeanor. Your bond is set at $100, and I do find probable cause after reading the probable cause affidavit. Okay? Thank you, sir. And Kenneth Clark? Mr. Clark, good morning, sir. You're being held on a $500 bond on a capias issued by the court.
Judge, Mr. Clark is inquiring if Your Honor would consider resolving his case today for time served.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any problem with this thing?
Probably not. I just need one moment, Judge.
Okay. You want me to give you a minute?
If I just need 30 seconds.
Okay, take your time.
Karen?
No, Judge, I have no problem. This didn't involve private property.
Mr. Clark, do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, sir.
Please put your arm down. Please state your full name.
Kenneth David Clark.
Mr. Clark, it's my understanding you wish to resolve your case today, waive your right to an attorney in the trial. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions regarding any rights you're giving up today?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any kind of drugs or alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
Ever been treated for a mental illness?
No, sir.
And are you pleading no contest to one count of trespass? Just give me 1 second. Trespass in a place other than a structure.
Yes, sir.
The court's
Yes, I'm pleading no.
accept.
Yes, I'm pleading no
Accept
contest.
your plea. Find that it's freely and voluntarily given. The court's going to adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served, order court costs of $293, and I'm going to give you a year to pay that. Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You were arrested by yourself? This is your Were you arrested by yourself? You have to live with you?
Jeffrey Newman?
Mr. Newman, come on up.
Mr. Newman, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Mr. Newman, you're here on, it looks like, one case with 3 counts. The judge in that case has issued a capias on each of those counts and set a $500 bond on each count. You're scheduled to go before that judge on 4/29/17 at 10 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Judge, my understanding is Mr. Newman's going to try and have a friend post his bond. So if he posts his bond, he wants to know, he still has to show up to court. And I wrote down April 27, 2017 at 10 a.m. But I would like to know what room number so I can give it to him so he knows when and where to go ahead and come back to court.
Mr. Romero, let me ask you, you say that's a 27?
Yeah, April 27th, correct.
Okay, it looks like a 9 to me, so I just didn't want any confusion. I'm not quite sure.
I think it's a 7 and they put a slash in the middle of the 7 just to
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
differentiate it from a number 1.
Okay, so it's 4/27 at 10 a.m. Does anybody know who he's assigned to?
One moment.
And what courtroom number
It's
so I
Judge
can write it
Brown.
down for him.
I'm sorry?
Judge Brown.
Okay, it's Judge Melinda Brown.
You wouldn't happen to know the courtroom number so I can write it down for him.
She's on the
So
fourth
I don't want
floor.
him to miss his court date.
Anybody have the?
I'll get it, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lender.
No problem. So, courtroom 465.
Courtroom 465.
There you go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Melinda.
thank you, sir.
Jermaine Sands?
North Broward.
He's a medical reset, Judge.
Medical reset, okay. And we're going to go to Keyshawn Reeves. Mr. Reeves, good
Mr.
morning,
Reeves is
sir.
here, present, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, you are charged with trespass of an unoccupied structure. I do find probable cause after reading the probable cause affidavit, and your bond is $25. Thank you, sir.
Judge, respectfully, Mr. Reeves is inquiring if you will consider resolving his case today.
Just give me 1 second.
Yes, Judge.
Those are fathers. How long you live in South Florida? Married, single, widow, divorced?
All right, they're back.
Legally?
Mr. Reeves, I am not inclined to resolve your case because of the probable cause affidavit. This indicates that this isn't your first time at this particular location or first time being arrested. You'll have to post the bond and go before the judge, okay?
All right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Evan Hewings?
I'm sorry?
Hewings. Mr. Hewings here, present, Judge.
Mr. Hewins, you're being held on a $250 bond set by the court. In a case, you're scheduled to appear before that judge on May 1st, 2017 at 2 p.m. Thank you.
Have a good day, sir.
Thomas Rose?
Is Thomas Rose still in medical reset? Judge, I've been informed Mr. Rose is medical reset.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Joshua McCommon?
Conti, Your Honor.
Mr. McCommon, you are charged with 2 counts of grand theft and 2 counts of, looks like, giving false information to pawn items. Those are 4 counts. There's a $1,000 bond on each count, and I do find probable cause having reviewed the probable cause affidavit. Okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christian Restrepo?
Conti again.
Mr. Restrepo, you are being held on a $1,000 bond on a felony in 17002409 CF10A. That capias has been issued by the judge. The judge set the bond of $1,000. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/24/2017 at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Okay.
Bradley Overton?
I can't find DeJuan. I didn't give it to you.
Conti.
DeJuan Williams.
Again.
Thank you. Mr. Overton, you're being held no bond on a violation of probation. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/25 at 8:45 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Willie Anderson?
Mr. Anderson, so you're approaching judge at Maine?
Mr. Anderson, you are being charged with robbery and a grand theft, and, well, 2 counts of robbery and 1 count of grand theft. I have reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. Your bond is presently set at a total of $18,500. Okay?
Judge.
Thank you, sir.
And just ask for no victim contact in addition to the...
Mr. Anderson, also I'm ordering that you have no victim contact during the pendency of this case.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, I think this is really an attempted strong-arm robbery, Judge.
That's yeah, that's what was on the arrest warrant.
Right.
For count 3.
For count 3, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Judge.
I see. I'm looking at the warrant for the arrest. So probable cause has already been found. There's 1 count of robbery, 1 count of grand theft. And where's the 3rd count?
It's the 2nd warrant.
Yeah, sorry. I know how to get up with this on.
This is through Michael Uson. State, are you saying there's a...
Here, yeah.
Okay, I have the affidavit for arrest. I have the warrant to arrest. And this is a different, this is a subsequent warrant. Okay. Just give me, okay. Okay, so Mr. Anderson, apparently there is a warrant for robbery, grand theft, and attempted robbery. And there's an order by Judge Uson, who apparently is the judge assigned to the case, ordering that you be brought back from, looks like, Dade County, and to be held in the Broward County Jail until such time as you appear before him. Okay?
Judge, respectfully, what we're going to be asking your honors to consider reducing the bonds on counts 1 and 3. He's been residing in South Florida his whole life. He is 29 years old. He just lost, well, he's not working anymore. He was previously working at the Epic Hotel in Dade County. He was a valet parker, making approximately $13 an hour. Financially, he has no money in the bank, no property. Like I said, he lives in Dade County. He lives with his parents, his mother and father. Judge, what we'd be asking you to consider, because of his lack of financial resources, he has no money in the bank, no property. I would ask you to consider reducing the bond on count 1 from $7,500 to $5,000, and on count 3, reducing it from $10,000 to $5,000. So then it would be a total of $11,000. Judge, I would ask you to take into consideration his ties to the community and his financial resources, and that's why I'm asking you to reduce that bond.
Mr. Romero, let me ask you a question. There is an order issued by Judge Uson, and let me read it to you. Ordered that the said sheriff of Broward County shall keep the said defendant in his custody until after the forescribed proceedings have been concluded, and shall thereafter return said defendant from whence he came. This is an order bringing him back from Dade County, which apparently there's cases.
Right, he still has a Dade County hold, basically, but this is his first time being magistrated on the charge.
Isn't Judge Uson indicating also that he is to be held into the Broward County until such time as this case is resolved?
That's what he's. I believe that's what he's hoping for. But if Mr. Anderson was in the financial position to post his bond, the hold here would be let go, and then he would be brought back to Dade County. So therefore, he cannot legally say we can hold him no bond. That's why there's no bond hold. What he did is put a bond on it, but still that bond is for convenience purposes, as far as like if he were to go ahead and post it, there wouldn't be no need for him to go in front of the magistrate judge. But because he's before you, Now this is where I have an opportunity to present mitigating factors and ask you to go ahead and reduce his bond.
Okay, state.
Your Honor, my reading, in fairness, my reading of the order from Judge Uson is to have him brought before the first appearance judge. That being said, one, Your Honor, I believe there is case law, Matta v. Lamberti, which can be interpreted that the judge signing the arrest warrant, unless express permission is given that the bond can be modified by the first appearance judge, that those are...
Well, my understanding, though, is that this was a warrant signed by the judge.
Yes.
The judge determined the amount of bond, but it wasn't at a bond hearing. It was just an issue summons. Am I correct?
Yes.
It was an arrest warrant signed by the judge. Matta doesn't distinguish that it has to be said at a bond hearing. But, Your Honor, on top of that, just the allegations themselves, I think, justify these bonds.
Okay, Mr. Linder and Mr. Romero, I think the bonds as set by the judge previously is appropriate in this case, and I deny the motion to reduce the bond at this time. Thank you.
Thank you for considering it, though, Judge, because legally you were allowed to consider it, but it's within your discretion, so thank you.
Love Simons? Mr. Simons, good morning, sir. Mr. Simons,
Good morning.
You are being held no bond on 2 capiases and being held no bond on a violation of probation. You are set before the judge on 4/24 at 9 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Charles Barrett?
Northward.
Mr. Barrett, you're being held no bond on a violation of probation. You are set to hear,
Yes, sir.
set to appear before the judge on April 25th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Edwin Ortiz Patino?
Mr. Patino, come on up, please.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Patino, you are being held no bond on a violation of probation. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on April 25th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Daniel Camacho?
Northward.
Mr. Camacho, you are being held on 3 violations of probation. You're being held no bond by the court, and you're scheduled to appear before the court on April 25th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
DeJean Williams?
Mr. Williams is approaching, Judge, and he declined to serve as a public defender.
Okay, Mr. Williams, you are being held charged with home invasion with a firearm. That is a first-degree punishment by life. I have reviewed, well, actually, the probable cause has already been found. You're being held no bond at the present time. Thank you, sir.
And, Your Honor, the state would request, and I understand he's being held no bond, we'd still request no victim contact, and the state would have been requesting a no bond hold, but Your Honor already ordered it.
Okay, I am also, Mr. Williams, ordering, while this case is pending, that you do not contact the alleged victim or victims in any manner or form. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Counsel? Good, okay. Brian Smith?
Your bond is $1,000.
I'm Brian Williams.
Mr. Smith, come on up.
Mr. Smith, you are being held no bond on a violation of probation. You are scheduled to appear before the judge on April 24th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Take care, sir.
Been arrested before?
Stevenson Severe?
Steven. No?
Steven Severe?
Stevenson.
There you are. Mr. Severe, you are being charged with possession of cannabis, a first-degree misdemeanor. I find probable cause, having reviewed the probable cause affidavit. Your bond is $100. You're also being held on 2 capiases issued by the court. Your bond is set at $50 on one, and it looks like, well, let me see, have you ROR'd on the other?
I think 2's 50. I think 3 is no bond from Judge Colruyt.
No, this is $50, see?
No, I said on count 2. I said, yeah, it is 50 on count 2. I was saying count 3, the felony case.
Count 2 is 50, and count 3 is a felony.
Yes.
Let me see. And what is the charge?
Grand theft auto,
Grand
Judge.
theft.
It was
I see it, okay.
no show.
And you're being held no bond on that charge, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Andre George?
Judge, did we skip over Mr. Miller? The person right before Mr. Stevenson Severe was supposed to be Mr. Miller, so I don't know if paperwork got caught up again.
It did, yes. I apologize. Stephen Miller?
Shout out to Deputy Johnson.
Mr. Miller, you are charged with possession of cannabis less than 20 grams. Your bond is set at $100. You're also charged in 2 felonies, one with, I guess, throwing a missile into a dwelling and a domestic battery. Probable cause has already been found in those 2 cases, and I will hear argument resetting bond, or setting bond.
Yes, Judge, and speaking Mr. Miller, he's been residing in South Florida his whole life. He is 32 years old. He's currently employed. He works in landscaping. He makes approximately $10 an hour. I believe the domestic situation is regarding the mother of his child. He understands that Your Honor will be imposing a no contact order, so he'll be residing with his sister, who resides in Dania. So therefore they'll have no contact with each other, Judge. He's hoping that his family, his cousin, and his sister will be able to go ahead and contact other family members to try and see if they can post his bond. Respectfully then, what we'd be requesting is to leave the bond on count 1 is $100. We'd ask you to consider on count 2 $2,000, and on count 3 would be asking you to consider $1,000. So therefore that would be a total of $3,100.
State.
Your Honor, the state's going to be requesting a $7,500 bond on the second-degree felony, a $2,500 bond on the battery, based on the allegations in the report. But additionally, Your Honor, Mr. Miller has been convicted and sentenced to prison on multiple occasions. 2006 sale delivery of cocaine, 2 separate cases, sentenced to 7 years, 11 months state prison. 2002 robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon. He was sentenced concurrently to the 7 years, 11 months. 2006, he had a grand theft auto, and in 2002 grand theft auto, the 2006 grand theft auto, he was sentenced to the same 7 years and 11 months state prison. He was just released mid-September of 2013, Judge. And there were also 2 prior failures to appear in court.
Okay,
Judge, also my understanding, I believe the alleged victim is there.
Ma'am, your name?
Shamir Crosby.
Okay, and do you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
And what is it that you wanted to say to me?
I just want to say, like, the whole situation was a misunderstanding, and, like, he took care of the situation when I asked him to take care of it, and I was going to go to the state attorney's office and drop the charges, so.
Okay. All right, what I'm going to do is leave the bond at $100 on count 1. Count 2, I'll set at $2,000. Count 3, I'll set at $1,000. And Mr. Miller, I am also going to order that during the pendency of this case, you cannot have any contact in any form or manner with, ma'am, state your name again.
Shamir Crosby.
Do you have children with, how old are they? Sorry?
A 2-year-old.
Does the 2-year-old live with you?
Yeah.
Okay, and does Mr. Miller have another place he can stay while this case is pending?
We stay apart. We don't live together.
You don't live together, okay. So, do you need to have any contact with him at any point during the pendency of this case? It may be changed by the other judge.
Like, just to bring his child to see him, but I mean, I was going to go drop the charges, so.
Okay, all right. So what I'm going to do is order that until further order of the court, there's going to be no contact with you in any form or manner, and I've already set the bond, okay?
Judge, as far as the issue what the alleged victim also talked about, and also Mr. Miller did advise me, they do share a child in common who's 2 years old. For purposes of visitation, could they go through a third party in order to go ahead and arrange for drop off and pick up so Mr. Miller could still have contact with his child?
Well, I have not ordered that he not have contact with the child, and of course they can arrange that through a third party.
I just want to make it clear because sometimes when no contact, maybe a prosecutor can interpret that as no contact, direct or indirect. So if he's trying to call them through somebody else to get visitation, that could potentially be seen as trying to violate maybe your contact order. So that's why I expressly want you to say that.
Well, I have no problem with him having contact with the child and you arranging it through a third party. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, everybody. Andre Jordan. Mr. Jordan, you are charged with resisting or obstructing without violence, a first-degree misdemeanor. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. You're also charged with driving while license suspended. Just give me a second. This would be a second-degree misdemeanor. You are also, I'm going to ROR you on that count, but you have a no bond hold on you for a violation of probation. And also you have a hold on you with a bond of $2,000 for a capias. You're scheduled to see the judge on 4/25 at 8:45 a.m. Thank you, sir. Jordan Clark.
Mr. Clark, come on up, please.
Mr. Clark, you're being held on, it looks like a felony capias. You're being held, I thought it read no bond. Doesn't that say no bond?
It is.
Is it no bond?
Yes, it was court. He was up for a failure to appear.
You're being held no bond on a outstanding warrant on a felony, and you're being held on a $4,000 bond on a misdemeanor. They're both capiases, and the division is going to set your case before the judge. It is not set now, and you'll appear before the court. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Real soon. They don't have it written, but soon. Mr. Hepburn, come on up, please.
Are you Mr. Gurrier?
Judge, Mr. Gurrier declined to serve as public defender.
Mr. Gurrier, you're being charged with possession with intent to sell, manufacture, deliver cannabis. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit, and I question whether there's sufficient factual basis for the sell, manufacture, deliver. I understand the state's argument of 5 individual bags of cannabis and currency in the amount of $870. I guess that's the argument for the possession.
Well, it's the individual packaging. It's the 870 in mixed denominations, Your Honor. It would certainly it would appear this is evidence of someone that's intending to sell marijuana than just mere personal use.
Okay, I think it's close, but I'm going to find probable cause. I also find probable cause for the possession of the THC. You're also charged with an infraction. The bonds are set at $1,000 apiece. Mr. Gurrier, can you make that?
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
thank you, sir.
Your Honor, before Mr. Gurrier was arrested 2.5 weeks ago for felony possession of marijuana. He was found with 38 grams of marijuana, and he's out on a $1,000 bond on that.
And that's a pending case?
Yeah, it was just 2.5 weeks ago.
Mr. Gurrier, what I'm going to do is revoke your pretrial release on that prior case because I do find probable cause that while you were out on pretrial release, you committed another offense. You're going to have to go before that judge. Can you give us a case number?
Of course, Judge. It's 173784 CF10A.
And you'll file prepare an order?
Yes.
Do you have any questions, sir?
So what does that mean? No bond?
That means no bond on that other case.
Which case?
The case 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes.
Yes.
I'm fine. Just cross that off. I find C on both. Count 1 and 2. Jeffrey Hepburn. Mr. Hepburn, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Are you on probation for anything?
Mr. Hepburn, where are you from?
I'm sorry?
Bless you.
On the pre-trial.
I'm sorry?
Miami-Dade County.
Oh, okay. Did you
Dade
go to
County.
high school down there?
Miami Springs, yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hepburn, you're charged with petty theft and a misdemeanor of the second degree, possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams of misdemeanor of the first degree, possession of cocaine, a felony of the third degree, and a resisting or obstructing without violence. Your bond is presently set at $1,000 on the possession of cocaine. You've been ROR'd on the other 3 counts. I do have find probable cause, having reviewed the probable cause affidavit. Can you make that bond, sir?
Not at the moment, but I can't resolve this?
Well, there's a felony, sir. I can't resolve a felony at first appearance hearing.
Pre-trial has turned up. Pre-trial had talked to me last night. Is there a possibility of that?
What's his priors?
Your Honor, first he's got a federal prior for conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute cocaine. He was sentenced to 78 months in Florida federal prison.
When was that?
That was early 90s, but he also has, as far as state priors, 7 prior felony convictions, 8 prior misdemeanor convictions, showing out of the state of Georgia. He's been to prison in the state of Georgia. Your Honor, as you can see just from his booking sheet, how many aliases he's used in the past. I just don't think he'd be a good candidate for pretrial.
Mr. Hepburn, where do you presently live?
I live 1545 Northwest 7th Avenue with my brother. I work at the gym, the Zoo Health Club in Miramar, Florida University.
The probable cause affidavit indicates that you told them you were homeless and you gave a different
I didn't tell
address.
him.
You gave a different address. Okay, what I'm going to do is set a bond on the petty theft at $250, on the possession of cocaine, $100. I'm going to leave the bond at $1,000 for the possession of cocaine, and the resisting is $250.
Your Honor, did you mean $100 on the possession of cannabis? You said $100 on the possession of cocaine, but I think you meant the possession of cannabis on count
No,
2.
$1,000 for the possession of cocaine.
I know you said cocaine for both.
Possession of cannabis, $100.
Okay.
$250 on the petty theft and $250 on the resisting.
Just clarifying that, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing it out.
No, just.
Cody Hudson.
Listen.
Mr. Hudson, good morning, sir. You are charged with possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, a first-degree misdemeanor. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. You're also charged with drug paraphernalia. I do not find probable cause for that. Your bond for the possession of cannabis is $100. I'm going to ROR you on the drug paraphernalia. And you're also being held no bond on 3 different violations of probation, and you're scheduled to appear before the judge on April 25th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Brandon Jimenez, come on up.
Oh, Mr. Jimenez, you're being held on a $1,000 bond on a violation of probation and scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/24 at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
Good luck, sir. Alex Gallardo, come on up, please.
Mr. Collazo, you're being held on a violation of probation, no bond. You're scheduled to appear before the judge on 4/24 at 8:30 a.m. Thank you, sir.
LeVar Roberts, come on up. Mr. Roberts, judge advised me that his family's going to be posting his bond.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Roberts. I do find probable cause, having reviewed the probable cause affidavit, and we'll leave the bonds as set. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. David Pinto, come on up.
Mr. Pinto, you are charged with burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, grand theft auto, and criminal mischief. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit, find probable cause, and we're here to set the bond on the burglary. I will hear argument on that. Your bond on the grand theft auto is $1,000, and your criminal mischief is a $25 bond. Mr. Romero, what is your recommendation as to the burglary?
Judge, bottom line, we're going to be requesting $2,000. Here's why. He's been residing in South Florida for 10 years. He is 20 years old. He just started working. He works for a company called Tail Waggers. He's a dog walker and dog washer and scrubber and groomer. He just started that employment. He's making $9.50 an hour. Financially, he has no money in the bank, no property. He lives in Hollywood with his girlfriend. They have one child in common who was just born, so his wife is basically right now just taking care of their infant child. He's the sole financial provider for his family. So he's a graduate of MacArthur High School. That's why he believes if you come up with $2,000, $1,000, his wife maybe could come up with $300 going through a bondsman, and that's why we'd be requesting that amount, Judge.
Your Honor, I can tell you he's
So, Mr. Romero, you're asking for $2,000 on count one, right?
Correct, Judge.
Yes.
Your Honor, the state's going to be requesting a $15,000 bond on count one.
$15,000.
$15,000, Your Honor. My concern is breaking into people's homes. I believe that poses a concern for the safety of the community. I can tell you, he's 20 as a juvenile. He had a violent felony offense, Your Honor, without going into too much detail. And I'm just relying upon the report, Your Honor. We'd also ask for, regardless of whatever bond the court sets, an order of no return to the property listed in the report.
Mr. Pinto, are you in school or do you work?
I just work, sir.
Are you married?
Engaged, sir.
Do you have any children?
Yes, sir.
How
Just
many?
born, I believe.
Just born, sir.
Okay. And where do you live?
638 South Crescent Drive in Hollywood, Florida.
Who do you live with?
I live with my girlfriend.
How long have you lived there?
I lived there for about 4 months now.
Is it an apartment or is it a?
Is it a house?
It's a house.
Yes, sir.
And you can go back there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I'm going to do is set the bond on the burglary at $3,000, the grand theft at $1,000, and criminal mischief at $25. If he is released on bond, I want him on level 2 pretrial release with a monitor, and he is to have no contact in any form or manner with Anthony White.
Thank you, Judge.
And he is.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, when you get released and post bond, you have to go to
Love?
pretrial, which is across the street. Here's the map, all right? Mr. Love, come on up, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right. Mr. Love, you're charged with grand theft and uttering a false instrument. You're also, and your bonds are set at $2,000, $1,000 on each count. I find probable cause, having reviewed the probable cause affidavit. You're also being held on a $250 bond on a 2016 case pursuant to a capias signed by the court. I do find probable cause, and your total bond is $2,250.
Judge, respectfully, Mr. Love is requesting if Your Honor would consider pretrial release on count 1 and count 2. He lives in Miami Gardens with his girlfriend. His approximate rent is about $1,200. He's 27 years old. He's been residing in South Florida his whole life. He was employed. He was working in January, but unfortunately, he suffered an accident on his motorcycle. He had a motor on a bicycle. He was actually driving a bicycle. So he had a kind of bicycle with the motor vehicle, whole accident. He suffered injuries, and as a result of that, he's not employed anymore. All his savings have been depleted. I told him that you can't do anything on count 3, but on count 1 and 2, that's why he's requesting if he could be released on pretrial. He does have a valid address.
Are you asking him to be ROR'd?
ROR'd on count 1 and 2, and to be reporting under the supervision of pretrial release.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
For a second. Mr. Love, where do you live?
2920 Northwest 193rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida.
How long have you lived there?
A year now, sir.
And you live there with whom?
My girlfriend.
Okay, what is 1005 Northwest 7th Avenue?
Old address, Your Honor. I'm sorry they had that on file.
Give me the address again in Miami Gardens.
2920 Northwest 193rd Street, Miami Gardens, Florida.
Okay, and state, what did you want?
Your Honor, I'm going to be asking for a bond increase. His history out of Florida, he was sentenced to Florida State Prison out of Dade County, 2009, 2 burg structures, a grand theft, and a criminal mischief. He was sentenced to a 1.5 years. He also has an active warrant out of the state of Pennsylvania for a failure to appear on a theft charge.
Is he have a no bond hold on that?
Your Honor, I don't know, but it's not extraditable anyways. It's only he would have to be arrested in the area for it to warrant to go into effect. I'm just bringing it up because apparently he's failed to appear.
Yeah. Mr. Love, I'm going to leave the bonds as set at $1,000 each, but if you, at $250 on the capias, if you were to be released, you're to be on level 2 pretrial release with a monitor, and you are to have no contact in any form or manner with the alleged victims in this case that are listed on the probable cause affidavit. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
That is correct. Michael Owens? Mr. Owens?
Mr. Owen, come on up.
Good morning, Mr. Owens. You are charged with grand theft auto. Your bond is $1,000. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. And this is the one regarding the, it's a loaner. It's a rental car, am I correct?
That's correct, Judge. And it also appears in the probable cause affidavit that he was making payments. They did verify he made a payment last month on the car.
Yeah. Mr. Owens, your bond is $1,000. Can you make that?
Not exactly on my own right now.
Do you have family or friends that can post, go through a bondsman and post $100 for you?
I believe so, if I can get in contact with them.
Okay, I'm going to leave the bond as set now. If you don't get out, we'll bring you back.
Is your phone in property? Do you need access to the phone numbers?
No, I have the numbers.
Oh, okay, you have it? Okay, they'll let you use your phone then.
Okay, so what do I do?
When you go back, they'll let you use your phone. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Eddie Sentinel? Eddie Sentinel, I think? Okay.
Okay, Eddie Sentinel? Mr. Sentinel, you're charged with carrying a concealed firearm. Your bond is $1,000. You're also charged with possession of cannabis and an infraction of failing to wear a seatbelt. I've read the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause. Your bond is set at $1,000 for the carrying concealed firearm, and you are ROR'd on the possession of cannabis. Okay, sir?
No.
Thank you.
Judge, Mr. Sentinel's in a dilemma. He said he can't contact anyone to post his bond.
I can pay it, but I just can't contact nobody.
You weren't arrested with your phone?
I also left my phone in the car. He didn't let me take it with me.
Mr. Sentinel,
Yes, sir.
There are bondsman phone numbers in the jail. You can contact the bondsman, and they will contact your family or friends, okay? All right, thank you, sir. Victor Ute.
Judge, Mr. Ute is going to require a Creole interpreter?
Already ordered.
Already ordered. We'll come back to him. Thank you, Mr. You're always on top of it.
Nava Jr.?
Nava Jr.? Mr. Jr., you're charged with, it looks like, possession of cannabis with the intent to sell?
I think they're charging him to actually selling, Your Honor.
Right. But is that a different statute?
It's different. Sale or delivery, it's different from possession with intent to sell or deliver.
Oh, okay, it's actually sale.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, Judge.
And is that a second degree or third degree?
It's a third degree.
Okay. I reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause your bond is set at $1,000. Thank you, sir.
Judge, the only request we'd have is if you can sign an order allowing Mr. Jr. to have access to his property. He believes he has his debit card, and then he's going to try and self-bond.
But that is granted if you'll give me an order.
My colleague will. Thank you.
He has to do is tell the deputy he wants to self-bond.
Okay, wait a minute, sir. If you could come back.
Mr. Junior.
Mr. Junior, I have a representative of the Broward Sheriff's Office here, and she says all you have to do is tell the deputy that you want a self-bond, and they will give you access to your property so that you can get the debit card, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Zachary Freeman? Mr. Freeman, you are charged with fleeing with disregard of safety to persons or property, leaving the scene of a crash involving damage to property, operating without a valid license, and an infraction of disobeying a stop sign. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I find probable cause, and I will hear argument setting bond on count 1, the fleeing with disregard of safety. Mr. Romero?
Judge, if I might have 30 seconds to
Sure.
speak with Mr. Freeman.
State.
Just one moment. I'm just checking.
Okay.
Your Honor, first, to advise the court, I'm showing Mr. Freeman has an outstanding warrant out of the state of Georgia for failure to appear in court on an assault, a misdemeanor assault. He also, he has juvenile priors, but they were misdemeanors, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Romero, what kind of bond are you requesting?
Judge, at this time, we'd be requesting, do you consider a $1,500 bond? He's 19 years old. He's been residing in South Florida for about 18 years now. He's currently employed. He works at Slides in Boca. He's a cook. He makes approximately $12 an hour. He lives in Pompano Beach with his mother. So he's going to be contacting his family to post his bond. So he believes that his mom can afford about a $1,500 bond.
What I'm going to do is set a bond of $2,000 on count 1. The leaving the scene $500. I'm going to ROR him on count 3. And the count 4 does not require a bond. Okay,
thank you, Judge.
Charles Payne?
North Broward.
Mr. Payne, you are charged with petty theft, a misdemeanor in the 2nd degree, but it indicates here that this is your 3rd or subsequent offense, so I'm not sure whether they're going to be filing that as a felony.
Yes.
Your bond is set at $750. I find probable cause after reviewing the probable cause affidavit. State.
Your Honor, I'm showing that Mr. Payne is on release on 2 pending cases, one for felony theft, the other for grand theft.
Okay, Mr. Payne, I find that while you were out on pretrial release on your other 2 cases, I find probable cause to believe that you committed another criminal offense. Pursuant to the statute and the rule, I'm going to revoke your pretrial release and hold you no bond on those 2 prior cases, and I will be entering an order if the state will prepare the orders on each case.
Of course, and if I could just put the case number, thank you. The felony theft, Your Honor, is 172507 CF10A. The grand theft is 172486 CF10A.
And your bond on this case is $750. Thank you, sir. Stephen Hahn? Are you Mr. Hahn?
Stephen Hahn, I believe it's a medical reset, correct? Medical reset on Stephen Bond? Or is it
No, he's North Broward. I spoke with him.
Oh, North Broward. Oh.
Mr. Hahn, you're being held no bond on a violation of probation. Your case will be set before the judge assigned to your case. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And Vernon Ashley?
I believe that's a medical reset.
Vernon Ashley?
Yes, medical reset, Judge.
Okay.
Medical reset.
Thank you. William Bacon?
Yes, Mr. Bacon's here, President of Maine.
Mr. Bacon, you are charged with burglary of an occupied structure. I've reviewed the probable cause affidavit. I have a question whether there is probable cause.
Yes, Your Honor. See, and also, I mean, I was saying this actually.
Let me just state.
Sure.
Judge, I remember reading it yesterday, but I'm not exactly sure. I know I had an argument about it, but I don't.
Just give me a moment to finish. Oh, that's all right. My question is, when I read this, there's an indication that he went through a window and went into the home. He was confronted by the occupant's dog and the occupant, and the defendant said he was afraid and left the residence.
Yes.
My understanding, there's got to be some kind of indication that there was with the intent to commit the offense therein.
And I think the spontaneous statement he made in the first paragraph on that page, police indicates there was an intent.
The first page?
The first paragraph of the page you're referring to.
Oh, I see, where he says immediately upon taking him into custody, Mr. Bacon said, "I'm stalking her"?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, I think.
I remember the probable cause affidavit now.
I think it's close. I'm going to find probable cause. I will hear argument regarding setting bond. The possession of you're also charged with possession of cannabis. I find probable cause for the possession of cannabis, and I'll ROR you on that count. Mr. Romero, what can he do?
Judge, I'm asking for a $1,000 bond on count one. Mr. Bacon's been residing in South Florida since 1974. At this time, he's in between jobs. He used to be an Uber driver. He got paid around $200 an hour. He's going to be residing in Dade County, in Ogis, which is by like Miami Gardens Drive. He's going to be residing there with his mother and sister. Financially, has no money in the bank. He's a registered voter, and that's why we'd be asking you, for mitigation purposes, even though you found probable cause, I'd ask you to consider as far as like the strength of the case, in which I'm assuming that if it was close, it's a weak case. That's why we'd be asking you, Your Honor, to consider a $1,000 bond.
Mr. Romero, let me ask you, what is the relationship between the defendant and Manon Vene?
Let me inquire.
Well, I can tell you, I spoke to her. There is none. She does not know him, and that's why. Well, I'll wait till Mr. Romero's done.
Has there been any prior contact or anything?
No,
we don't
and that's
know
why,
who this
Your Honor,
person
I'm very,
is, Judge.
and that's why, frankly, and
okay,
Your Honor, I'm going to be asking.
Wait.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Mr. Romero, do you have any questions regarding mental or emotional illness?
I haven't had an in-depth conversation in order to formulate any sort of opinion regarding that, Judge.
The reason I'm inquiring is, according to the probable cause affidavit, I don't know if this is true or not, but he goes into this person's home, and then he's telling the police officer, "I'm stalking her," but they don't even know each other, and they've never had any contact before. I don't see any indication of drugs other than the marijuana. Does he have any priors?
Your Honor, I see, and I don't know if pretrial has anything else. DUI that was pled out to a reckless driving in 08. Your Honor,
I'm just curious as to what's going on here.
Judge, the limited information at this time, Mr. Bacon, without getting into particulars, so I don't want to violate HIPAA, he does have a mental health condition. The medication that he was taking, unfortunately, had side effects regarding his health implications. So at this time, I believe he's not currently on medication. He plans on trying to see if maybe other types of medication may be able to alleviate some of the effects of his mental health issues, Judge.
Okay, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to set a bond of $2,000 on count one. I'm going to release him ROR on count two. But if he's released, he is to report to standard pretrial release. He is to report twice a week by phone and twice a month in person. Patrice, other than drug or alcohol evaluation, is there any kind of evaluation for mental health? Or? Okay. Pursuant to his bond, he's going to have a psychosocial evaluation?
Judge, we would object to that. If Mr. Bacon is going to be represented by the Office of the Public Defender, then it's within our purview to take care of any evaluations on him that may need to be done. We're aware now of the issue, and when I hand the paperwork in from this docket later on this morning, this will be an alert on Mr. Bacon. Someone will be out to see him very shortly, within the next day or so, and if it determines that an evaluation needs to be done, then our office will hire the appropriate doctor to do it.
But you're talking about competency, right?
Well, it doesn't, whatever it might be, Judge.
No, I'm gonna have, you guys can do that, and that's fine, but I need to have it done. Is that Henderson Clinic that does that?
That's one of the places that he could do that.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna tell you where to do it, but he needs a psychosocial evaluation and any follow-up treatment. And, yes.
Well, Your Honor, the state's also going to object. I really wasn't given an opportunity to make any argument before the court set a bond. This is, even though it says burglary structure, it clearly is a burglary of someone's home. It's a burg dwelling, which is defined by the legislature as a dangerous offense. I'm very concerned for the victim's well-being. Your Honor, by his admission that he was stalking this woman who he doesn't appear to know at all. My concern is if her dog wasn't there, who knows what could have happened. I don't believe a $2,000 bond, it's even with the GPS, is really inappropriate. Well, then certainly with standard, is not appropriate enough a deterrent to ensure the safety of the community without knowing more.
Mr. Bacon, are you working?
No, sir. I'm between work. He was the gentleman I told you. He was an Uber driver.
Yes, sir. No, I understand. The reason I didn't do level 2 in the GPS is because the information that I obtained from both parties, there's no prior contact with this lady, and let me finish. No subsequent contact. There's been no complaints about him being around there, so I didn't feel it was necessary. What my concern was is that Mr. Bacon might be going through a mental or emotional crisis. He has no priors.
And I guess my concern is, Your Honor, someone could be followed, someone could be watched, someone, as he put, could be stalked without even realizing it's happening. It's his admission that he was stalking her. And my concern is, if he's willing to go into someone's home.
Other than his statement, there's no facts or indication that anybody was being stalked.
Then the flip side of it is, Your Honor, if he's willing to go into an absolute stranger's home, my concern is, how do we know he won't just do it again to some other stranger? And what if they don't have a dog there?
Mr. Bacon, I'm going to leave the bond as I stated, except I forgot to add one thing, and the state reminded me, and I appreciate that. Pursuant to your bond, as a condition of your bond, you are not to have any contact in any form or manner with Manon Vene, and you are not to go within 500 feet of her residence. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you violate that, that's a violation of your pretrial release, and you'll be back here with us, okay?
Yes, sir.
You can't call her, you can't write her, you can't text her, you can't email her, you can't tweet her, you can't Facebook her, nothing, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. David?
A Creole interpreter.
Creole interpreter? You are. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep you here. I didn't see you walk in. Victor Ute?
Oui.
Victor Ute?
Oui.
He's here?
Oui.
Yes.
Are you Mr. Ute?
Est-ce que c'est Monsieur Ute?
Oui.
Yes.
Mr. Romero, you need to help me a little bit here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay. If you will raise your right hand, do you swear to translate from English to Creole and Creole to English?
I do.
And if you could state your name and what...
Bazilais. B-A-Z-E-L-A-I-S.
And you're from the county interpreters here?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Ute?
Monsieur Ute?
Good morning, sir.
Oui.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour.
You are
Good
charged
morning.
with grand theft
Yo t'ai chargé au côté volet.
in an amount $10,000 or more, but less than $20,000.
I'm sorry.
In an amount
Yo t'ai volé 10 000
greater than $10,000, but less than $20,000.
$10,000, mais un petit peu moins que $20,000.
That is a second-degree felony.
Ça, c'est ça, il y a un felony. Donc, un acte criminel, il y a des felonies.
I reviewed the probable cause affidavit.
Moi, j'ai regardé l'affidavit là, et pour regarder pour que ça a été fait.
I find probable cause,
Moi, je joins une cause,
and your bond is presently set at $1,000.
et puis, qu'on y a, bonne coréen, il mettait là $8,000.
Okay, thank you.
OK? Merci, monsieur.
Judge, could the Creole interpreter inquire as far as Mr. Ute's ability to post bond?
Est-ce que le créole là, interprète là, capable de parler de si monsieur Ute capable de joindre l'agence à
Can you
If
make
I
that,
could.
Can you make that bond, sir?
Hello?
He didn't ask a question, he just asked the question.
Can you make the bond, sir? Go ahead.
Est-ce qu'on capable gen l'argent pour payer bon nan?
M'attendez combien quoi?
I didn't hear how much money.
$1,000.
$1,000.
If you use a bondsman, it's $100 premium.
Si ou servi avec un monde qui bail bon, ou a obligé payer $100. C'est le premier paiement ou a obligé faire.
Non, m'ka joindre $100 parce que m'gen descend. M'ka joindre $100.
To find $100 because I have $200.
Yeah, m'gen nan poche mwen, but yo mette l'on côté, m'pa joindre moun dehors parce que madame mwen à peine vini. If I want to go to the
but they put it somewhere else because my wife just came.
Good day, she got special.
If I want to go to the Caribbean.
Mr. Ute, listen to me.
Check them first.
Do you have family or friends that can post your bond? If you use a bondsman, it will cost them $100.
Si vous faites ça, ça va coûter $100.
Ouais, m'gen nan même, madame
pas $100.
Okay.
Madame
Thank you, sir.
My wife cannot help me.
Thank you.
Okay, merci, monsieur.
David Baker, thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. David Baker?
Yeah. He's a North Broward judge. He indicated to me as a private attorney, Jeffrey Blum.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
I spoke with Mr. Bloom, Your Honor.
Did you want me to sign here where it says signature up here? Over here? There you go. Thank you.
Your Honor, I
Sorry,
spoke with Mr. Bloom. He's not going to be representing him on any of these matters.
Okay, Mr. Baker.
Yes, sir.
I believe that we brought you back from yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The attorney that you indicated would be representing you, he has indicated to us he is not going to be representing you on any of these matters, okay?
Okay, sir.
Have you retained?
So can I get a public defender? I don't have no money. I'm broke.
Okay.
I need a public defender.
Okay, hold on for a moment. Let me just go through this with you. You are presently charged with possession of methamphetamine, a felony. Your
Yes, sir.
bond is $1,000. You're also charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to ROR you on that count. And I find
Thank you, sir.
probable cause to believe you committed those offenses by reviewing the probable cause affidavit. You are also being held no bond on a violation of probation or community control, and that no bond has been ordered by the court. You will be scheduled to appear before that judge at a later date. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I am going to attend in college. I'm not going to be able to do finish my college now?
Well, I don't know anything about that, sir. I'm just here to set your bond, but you're being held no bond at the present time. You'll have to go before that judge, and at that time you can apply for the public defender's office, okay?
And what's the date for that judge, sir?
I don't believe that it has been scheduled yet, but it'll be scheduled in the near, wait a minute, it's scheduled for April 24th.
Thank you, sir.
Actually, it's April 24th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, everybody? Okay, we are systems off.